a might go no, we gonna survive that. Clothes and shelter, we gonna find that. When you hear this sound, you know that I'm back. Hey, it's where I put your mind. When that disaster hit, don't you get trapped in it. You must always stay prepared with your disaster kit. In the club you might be drunken, so you may laugh at it, but when you sober up, you know it. Here's what you have to get. Stay prepared, never be fearful or even scared. These natural disasters cannot be compared. So rise and realize you will survive. In the meantime, prepare yourself with these supplies.
All right, how's everybody doing? We'd like to welcome you to the live internet show, Starvingthesystem.com. I am your host. She is your host, Elohim. This is Nikolai. And it's been a minute. It's been a minute since the live thing. You know what I'm saying? I almost feel like I'm new to the game. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we got Al on the ones and twos. He don't buy no drinks at the bar. He pops champagne because he got that dough. So look, this is a very special show in light of what's been happening, in light of 2013, in light of December the 12th. Is that the day?
Sandy?
I'm talking about the calendar, December the 12th or 21st. Yeah, all that stuff. So in light of the natural disasters and everything that's been happening across the world, right, we thought that we would have a show on disaster preparedness, on having a to-go bag. Mm-hmm. But first, before we start, I'm sorry, I'm a little rusty. And I'm a little under the weather. Someone gave me a slight cold, and I've been susceptible, my first cold in years, because I went home at Thanksgiving, and my mama had blueberry cobbler and sweet potato pie and macaroni and cheese, all the stuff that I haven't eaten in so long. I partake of and now I'm coughing.
I'm not sick. I'm fine.
Yeah, right. So anyway, what I need you to do for me, please, get on Facebook, tweet, Instagram, whatever you got to do. Get on the phone, text somebody. But please let people know that we're on live right now. This is the show, Disaster Preparedness. I know I got some people that follow me in the, in North Carolina we used to say up north, and that meant New York. You never had to say New York. You just be like, I got family up north. That meant New York. So I need all my up north folks to tell the other up north folks, and everybody else, this show is very important. As you can see, we have a plethora of things on the table that we're going to show you about. And you know what? I got to keep it real, because you actually sent me an email about doing a show like this a year ago.
It was over a year ago.
Okay, but don't rub it in. But you were just like, this could be one of the good shows. And, and just to let you know, I listen to what you say. I've been holding it in the bag.
Wonderful.
I waited till people almost flooded out, and then now I want to do it, right? I could have saved some. We're still going to save lives, though. That just to scare you up, the say anything. So, look, we got all this stuff. We're going to explain how it works. And I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Nikolai Pizarro. I'm going to let her break it down for you, because we got all this good stuff, and she the one came in with the show. We're going to let her start off.
So the first thing that I wanted to talk about, and I think it's something that we brought up earlier, is that I'm here representing the single moms, the single women. And this is kind of one of those things that we don't like. Not all of you guys, not all of us. I don't want the feminists to come after me, but
they will attack. I'm sorry.
But a lot of us, at least me, and, I understand this. I used to sell life insurance. So even with that, sometimes women don't like to talk about things like this, and so we just forget about it and put it out the way. We don't want to think that anybody's going to die. We don't want to think that our children are going to, be in a state of emergency, and so we just, don't deal with it. And so this is a wonderful thing that we can do as families, as groups. I tell women that, we get together to do spa parties, we get together to do, all kinds of different parties. This is definitely something that we can do even as just women, just coming together. And then once we do it, then forget it. We're done. It's taken care of. We don't have to worry about it anymore. But if we don't do it, then we do put our families, at risk. And so it's very important to me as a mom and as a caregiver to make sure that I encourage women, which are a lot of single moms out there, a lot of head of households, to really take this information to heart. So that's my...
And as a father, I am a great father. No, but
wonderful father.
As a father, this is, if you're in the house with your wife, and if you're not, if you're, a weekend father, whatever, this is kind of your responsibility, as head of the house, so to speak, or whatever you are, the protector, so to speak, this is your responsibility to have a to-go bag like this. That this is, we're gonna get into different types of get up and go bags, but a general something that you can pick up and grab. Like, you're responsible for this. You know what I'm saying? So you need to really pay attention and install this. If you only have your children on the weekend and you still need this, even not just for yourself, but you need one for your child too.
Right, and I think you saying this makes an important point, that if you are co-parenting with another, with your other parent, that you guys have a joint plan. And so it might be that mom is a primary caregiver. She has a child most of the time. They have a bag. But what if the disaster happens during the weekend and vice versa? And so it's important this is one of those areas where emergency planning is definitely an area where you do have to co-parent and come up with a plan. And so you should have something, at home with a father and something at home with a mom. So it's a great thing. Okay, so the other thing we want to talk about is that there's different kinds of emergencies. It's that blueberry cobbler. But it's different kinds of emergencies. And so not all emergencies are the same. So when we talk about, sometimes when we talk about survival kits or disaster kits, we can be talking about Armageddon, things that happen as a nation, some kind of war or
power outage,
complete power, and just different things. So there's, catastrophic, nuclear, biomedical,
Doomsday.
Exactly. So there's that layer, but we want to bring it down and take baby steps.
Right, because it could be simple stuff. Me being from Wilmington, North Carolina, I've experienced floods from Hugo to Diana to everything. Hurricanes, I didn't mean to say floods, excuse me. But hurricanes, a lot of those. And you never know how severe it can get. And, all we do is tape the windows and get some candles and some flashlights.
I mean, and Sandy just taught people on something that people never thought would happen.
Right.
And so it could be, and in a situation like that, you don't need, all the survival stuff, but you do need to be able to get out your house. Definitely. Something like a fire, you just need to be able to get out your house. And any kind of emergency evacuation is just an idea where you need to get out of your house quickly, and that doesn't call for all the survival stuff. And so the way that I like to think about it is I like to have the general stuff that you would want in case you just have to evacuate your home for 3 days. But you're going to another safe place. Maybe a shelter, we remember Katrina. So maybe, a shelter like that where you still want to have these things because it can take a couple of days to get food. It can take a couple of days to get medicine, or you're sharing everybody else's supply.
Exactly.
So something where you're getting the general things, but you want to normalize things for yourself and your family. So what kind of things that you need? You definitely want to bring sanitary, hygiene things. And, we should have had those 2 bags, but we don't really need them. It's good to have 2 bags, like one more than 1 bag.
Exactly. We'll go ahead and show
because you. Because what that's going to allow you to do, Vanna White over here, what that's going to allow you to do is distribute the weight. And so with all of these things, you want to put a little bit, in one bag and a little bit on the other bag, and start distributing the weight.
And it helps to get a bag with different compartments. You got one here, and one here. So you don't have to, jumble. If you need something, you may need emergency medical supplies or something.
Exactly. So with this, you always want to have a blanket, right? You're always going to have a blanket and a change of clothes, 1 to 2 change of clothes, depending on the kind of bag that you have. You want to have a blanket and the change of clothes. And then from there, you start stacking your things. And so you would have food and then sanitary first aid kind of kits.
Right.
And so, of course, with something like that, if you have 2 bags, 2 or 3 bags, even your children need their own little bag. You always want to put a roll of tissue in one. You want to have a soap, a multi-use soap, and you wouldn't have a big bag a big bottle like this. I just wanted to show you guys this big bottle. We love this soap because you can use it for everything. And
yes,
so
this is a great soap.
So you can use it to take a shower, and what you would do is you would get little bags like this and make little bottles in each bag. And so everybody is getting their own thing.
And just a quick usage of this stuff. It's a soap. It's a mouthwash.
You can
clean with
you can
it.
use it as toothpaste. You can use it as mouthwash. You can use it on your body. You can wash your clothes with it. And what's great about this soap is that it's Castile soap, but it doesn't have any other chemicals. And so if you don't have water, which is always in an emergency, there's always shortage of water.
You can drink that? Oh, I'm sorry.
You can just rub it on, and you don't have to rinse it off. You can just rub it off.
Oh,
with,
wow, that's cool.
With just like a wet. So you could take like one of these wet wipes and just kind of rub it, and you can leave it on. And so, it also will help you. So all you have to do is, make sure that every bag has a little one. And you want to do the same thing with bleach, because you can actually take bleach in, you have to find the formulas. We didn't bring them all, but you can take bleach and use it as disinfectant.
Right.
Just a little bit. I think it's like 1/10 of the water to make it disinfectant. And then you can also maybe, if in extreme cases when you need the water, you can actually drink it if you put a little bit of bleach in it. And so you want to take bleach, same thing, and make sure that every single bag has a little bit of.
I didn't know, but you can't drink rainwater. Like, you may get in a situation you don't have any water. You think you can drink rainwater, and you actually cannot do that. And we all know you can't drink water from the beach. I don't know if you
salt water. Salt water you can't drink, and you can't drink rainwater. And the reason, last summer I took my son and I went on a 7-day. Actually, it was 10 days. 10 days. No, no running water. No, it was a camping thing. It was a wonderful experience. But when the water comes down straight from the clouds, it goes into the streams, it goes into the soil, and going through the soil adds minerals that we need, and going through the rocks and all of that filters the water. And so when you're drinking straight water, it hasn't gone through that natural process, and that water actually takes your minerals out of your body. And so if you were out just playing in the rain in regular circumstances and you had a little bit of rainwater, that's no big deal. But if you're in a situation where you're not getting all of your nutrients, and then you start drinking that rainwater that's taking your minerals out, it's definitely not a good thing. So
if you looked earlier, you saw the picture of a whistle. And that can be a life-saving device. It might sound crazy, but go through that.
Okay, so every single bag needs to have a whistle, and you would have main whistle, like the one that you see on the screen, and you also want each of your children to have a whistle too. And I kind of mentioned this to you earlier, is that even if you're going to like a concert, or even like a mall or any kind of festival, a whistle on your child's neck is always a good idea, because if anything happens, maybe your child's screams will get diluted in the noise, but nobody's walking around with whistles, and so that's a very significant sound, and then it could
child might get lost, somebody might try to snatch your child.
Exactly. And so that whistle, and then also with your child, once you teach your children these techniques, like, hey, if anything happens, you want to blow on this whistle, it just acts as a form to comfort them and stabilize them. So in case of an emergency, even having that whistle around their neck is a comforting mechanism, and it's going to reduce their stress hormones, and it's going to make them act better, think better.
Right.
And so a whistle around your neck, just to be able to alert and call for help if you're lost or anything like that. If you're in the woods, you want people to find you. So a whistle on you and a whistle for each one of your children is something that you want to have in every single bag. Right. And so we go through the toiletries. We definitely want to have a little bit of bleach, a little bit of soap. With these wet wipes, things like this, it's good to have them in one pack, maybe if you're the adult. But with everything, you want to have smaller, individual sized packets.
Distributing the weight, because everybody has to, in the case of an emergency, be able to carry their own weight. But also, if you end up having to leave a bag, then every bag has a little bit of something. Toothpaste you would have with this, but make sure that you have floss, make sure that you have toothbrushes, because dental hygiene is very important. You can carry, especially when you're in places that aren't the most sanitary, a lot of bacteria can be carried through the mouth. And so I didn't think about
that leads to complications and other diseases and other infections, and then you're in a place where you really can't get medical help. People sometimes think that they need disposable a disposable cup and plate, you actually would want to have one cup and one,
Right.
hard plastic, because when you have disposable things, they break and you don't know when you'll get more.
Right. And styrofoam, it can carry germs after a while versus the plastic. They teach you that in the county jail.
Oh, great.
Not that I heard, but yeah.
Exactly. And so you want to make sure that one of the things, that's another thing that we're very conscious about, is that we went out and we got things that we all got at Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, because sometimes, taking money out of our budgets is, it's difficult.
Right.
But if you start getting things, commit to $3 a week. Commit to $4 a week for your safety. Commit to
Right.
whatever. And then start getting things with your friends sometimes even.
Right, going together on packs of things.
Like this. We got this great pack of gloves at Home D something.
Yeah, we don't plug everybody. I'll plug Family Dollars and Dollar General.
Yeah, but we got this great pack at Home Depot.
And use your friends. Use your resources. That can be some of the best things that you can do. Use your resources. You got a friend that got to hook up on raincoats and rain suits. Use that. I did.
That's how we got the raincoats.
Friends with vests. Use it. I did. So get what you can from friends or whatever. Try to pull your resources together. None of us
get
have a lot of
twin
money.
packs of things, just things that maybe you can separate.
Split it with your friends, family.
Split it with your friends. But all of these, so many of these things you're able to get at Family Dollar, and you just have to be consistent and make, a resolve to say, this week I am going to, dedicate $10 of my weekly budget to get these things, and then, start building from there.
Right.
Don't wait until you have it all. And so you want to cover that. The next thing you definitely want to cover is you want to have your friends and family's phone numbers and all emergency contacts written down somewhere that's not in your phone.
I suggest actually, because I suggest having boots, on standby. Everybody need a good pair of boots they could throw on. Maybe I'm old school, and I got this. I was reminded of this by Veronica, who's been on the show before, our health consultant.
Yes.
Write some contact numbers down and put it in the insole of your shoes.
Wonderful.
You get ready to go, just jump. Let's run. You know what I'm saying? I want to know what this is for. What?
Oh, this is, this is a little game.
We didn't explain that to me. I don't know what that
This is a little puzzle game for children, and so you always want to get at least one toy or one coloring book or something for your child, because in an instant you want to be able to normalize a situation.
Yeah, it's traumatic. It can be traumatic.
It could be very traumatic. And so if you can take, if you can take things and normalize them, if you can take, for example, if you have lavender essential oils,
Right.
and just have something that's calming and soothing and just carry it on your bag. Lavender essential oil is a disinfectant, so it's always good to have it with you. But you could also just, whenever, if you're not in danger, calm your children down. We want to normalize situations as possible. So get something like a little puzzle. Make sure that you have people's numbers.
It's important. We don't know anything.
We don't know anything because of our phones.
Technology is a show of ignorance.
Now, along those lines, make sure that you know people in your area or right outside of your town. And so if you're in Atlanta, like right outside of Atlanta, maybe one state over, and you have ways to communicate. Know who has a landline. Know who only has a cell phone. Those are things that if you take the time and you write those notes down and you have them, then when you need that information, you don't have to scramble for them.
And this some of the first things you want to do when you're thinking about preparation. Because you don't need any money to write numbers down. You don't need any money to have an evacuation process. If you're in the same city with your whole family, like, you guys need a meeting place. You don't need any money for that. And it might be a situation where you can't grab anything. And all you have is the plan in your head.
Absolutely.
To know that your family is going to be here, is going to be there. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's one of the first things. Have a plan already that you can, that everybody knows about. Have a plan for the kids. Let's meet out here in front of this, in front of that, or out here. If you don't see me, then I'm going to either be there or there.
Absolutely.
If you don't see me, then you need to do this.
And have, again, when you have situations with co-parenting, make sure that you have a plan if everybody's in the house, if everybody is with dad, if people are with mom, or if you're in school.
Right.
Especially with school-age children, who is going to do what? Have a plan, and that doesn't cost anything.
Right.
Next, you want to have things like that you bring your I brought my birth certificate.
It's in my wallet. I have no idea what my wallet is at this time.
But you're going to have your birth certificate, your social security card, you're going to have, your bank accounts, your deeds, all of that, and you're going to put it in a waterproof, some kind of container.
Right.
You're going to put that in there, and you're just always going to have it in the main caregiver's bag. That you do have in only one bag. And it's very important that you have that because, of course, you never know. One thing that I would always have is an updated picture of your children on there as well. Yeah. And so you want to have that. Another great thing to have is, of course, a first aid kit, because they're kind of like all inclusive. They have a little bit of everything. And if not, then just, again, start putting things together.
Antibiotic, ointments, aspirin.
Benadryl is really big because you want to have something for allergies.
You know what? In my pickup truck, I used to have a pickup truck, by the way. I miss it very much. But honestly, I think you need this in your car.
You absolutely need that.
I think, the coke kit, yes, you need it, but I think you need this in your car anyway. GP. I just think you need this in your car.
And you need 3 gallons of water in your car.
At all times.
And a rope.
Yeah, do that at all times. I actually have a rope we didn't bring. It's pretty big. But you need that.
So you want to go through that. Again, if you don't have a first aid kit is usually about $20. If you don't have one, start making a resolve with, to step money to the side. And then you're not going to need, 150 tablets of aspirin. And so this is again where... This is again where you can do things with your friends.
Right.
Everybody say, okay, you get this, I get that, and everybody just split things up. And then, we're all take care of each other.
You're not paying that much at all.
At all. You get the box of Band-Aids, everybody gets 3 Band-Aids. You get this. I mean, it's really very, very doable. You always want to have a flashlight. You always want to have extra batteries. I thought this was really, really neat. Just like the radio, you want to have a battery operated radio or a crank radio so that you can stay in touch with, the news,
right? Exactly.
Help. But this is really cool because it's hand crank, and so you don't need, you don't need batteries or something like that. And it's very good to have a radio that gives you that option.
Definitely.
The one thing about those radios is that they're usually around $30-$40. The ones that are just with the hand cranks are a little bit expensive. But you can also look on eBay. You can go through, if not right now because it's not summertime, but in the summertime at garage sales, they always have them. Craigslist is another, we said eBay and all of that. And so you do want to have a raincoat. Make sure you have a raincoat for yourself and your child or children.
You never know.
And so let's get to the food one. Yeah, let's stay with the food one. And so
the type of food you want.
The types of foods that we want are non-perishable, of course. Things that don't need to be refrigerated, that don't go bad. But, for example, you want to get individually sized because you want to, again, distribute the weight. And I know, if you are a man, maybe you don't worry as much about weight. But, I think about myself and my son and us kind of in this emergency situation together.
Trying to carry big, giant,
Exactly. So even something like tuna or something like that, where I wouldn't carry a can. I would go for a pouch.
And you want to have, which she's about to get to, but you want to have really nutrients, a lot of nutrients, the food that packs the most in the smallest amount. You know what I mean? Exactly.
Superfoods, high caloric foods. Peanut butter is something that doesn't go wrong. Has a lot of protein, has sugar, has a lot of carbs. You want to do it. But again, a jar of peanut butter, kind of heavy. You want to go individual size. Trail mix, high caloric food, a lot of nutrients. You guys, if you follow our show, should know all about superfoods, and so you should have superfoods in your house. But something like spirulina, for example, it's a perfect protein. It has all the protein that your body needs.
Can take it with water.
Yeah, so a little bit of spirulina in water, and then you have all the protein that you need for a day. So you wouldn't need something like that. You would just need really to carry a small portion in each bag. Protein bars, get those. I don't eat these on a regular basis because of the chemicals are not all natural. Sometimes I do eat them.
I didn't say anything.
I wouldn't eat them on a regular basis.
Of course you wouldn't.
But I would say for you to have them. Have them in your bag.
In a crisis situation. Perfectly okay.
Or on vacation. Goji berries, again, a superfood, doesn't really go bad. You want to have that Himalayan salt or just sea salt, any salt, because if you're having, for example, an asthma attack or something like that, you can have water and salt opens up your lungs.
Right.
But also if you have a wound, you would need it. And so salt is so good and so healing in so many ways.
Speaking of wound, I know we're still at food, but these latex gloves can really come in handy if you're dealing with when you're dealing with infection and stuff like that. You want to put that along with the medical kit. We should have threw that in there. I just wanted to throw that out there because they don't cost anything to have.
It's like $2 for 36 gloves.
Right, but you still need some good old-fashioned cowhide.
For ropes and stuff like
that. Yeah,
don't
try to grab a rope with these on. That's going to hurt pretty bad.
Yeah, but you do need it for that just because you might come into contact with blood or fluids or anything like that.
There you go.
Again, bars, a great thing to have. You don't want a box of bars at one place. Again, always distributing the water.
The weight.
With the water, it's another thing. I don't suggest having big jugs of water, but small water so that you can again distribute the weight.
Right.
It's also all of these things that we have here are great to have in a kit that just stays in your house. And so, think about having 2 of these so that you have a kit in your house in case you just have to be stuck in the house for a week, as well as leaving.
Right.
So, the same thing with the water.
And we don't all stay in the same place. I know Starving System reaches all around the world. And no, but seriously, so if you're in a place where it's likely that an earthquake is going to strike, then you want to look, and it's a lot of websites. You can go to I think ready.gov or readygov.something. Just search Google for disaster kits and disaster preparations, and they'll pull up a lot of websites, and you'll see, depending on where you're at and what you're preparing for, is different types of bags and different types of things that you're going to need. So kind of cater to your location and your area, what you're most susceptible to.
But the thing about it is that if you don't prepare, then you're, ate out.
Hey, like that's my high school coach Toto. He said, if you don't plan to fail, you fail to plan. No, if you plan, how does that go? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I'm sorry. Exactly. I'm sorry, Coach. I almost let you down.
And so for the final emergency one, so you will have all of these things. And then, as time goes by, as your finances allow, you do want to be prepared for an actual catastrophic kind of bag. And for that, you want a duffel bag. You want, a big camping bag that you can carry. You want it to be able to carry a tarp or a camping bag. A tent.
Right.
But here's the thing, like camping tents, they're heavy. They cost a lot of money. You can prepare a camping tent out of a tarp.
Right.
You just have to be able to do that. And so it's important to learn how to make a tent out of a tarp.
Right. Just
very practical skill.
Right. You may just need to use the trees and the woods that you're in.
You can use some string. It's
and
not
some duct tape.
Once you learn how to do it.
We don't have. I gotta mention the duct tape.
Yes.
We don't have duct tape with us today. I have duct tape at the house. We have duct tape. But look, duct tape can save your life. Can stop flooding, leaks. You know what I'm saying? You can use it as bandaging. You can make all types of what do they call those? Splints and whatever. Like, you never know what you might need duct tape for. So you definitely want to have some duct tape, and take the time to, like I said, Google or YouTube. Get in contact with some conservationists. You know what I'm saying, and or just some you don't need to take a course, but just
do some
Google.
research. Do some research.
Learn what plants are poisonous, what plants you can eat, what flowers you can eat. In your particular area. Right, in your area. Learn those type of things, and they'll have.
YouTube is great.
I was about to say YouTube will show you how to build a tent from a tarp. You know what I'm saying? They'll show you that. They'll show you how the different uses of duct tape. they'll show you how to do those things. It'll show you how to build a radio out of, like MacGyver. So just do a lot of YouTube searching for this stuff if you're interested, and it'll definitely help you out.
Not if you're interested. Go ahead and do it because you'll need it. So these are all things that you need to be doing. They're all things that are doable. We're getting ready to go into a new year, so we want to make sure. And this is especially for parents, because what I do is, I work with parents. This is responsible parenting, and this is something that we all need to be doing.
Definitely.
The other thing that I just wanted to say too is that we all need to learn how to read a map. We all talked about, you need to have a local map, and you have to learn to read a map, and you have to learn to use a compass.
Definitely.
And so that's something that you can practice with your children before you want to practice your children, before you ever need to do it.
She's smiling like that because she can barely read a map.
I can barely. It's hard for me to read it, but I can read one. You can read a map. Of course, and because I say it's hard for me to say compass, I have to really think about it.
Oh, that's what it was. I forgot. Right. She does say that pretty funny.
I say it pretty funny. So, so you definitely want that. You
should definitely have, and you should have this in your car. That's one of the things you should have in your car at all times. The first aid kit. You need this in your car. You need water in your car, like she said. At least what? How many gallons you want to have?
3 gallons.
At least 3 gallons. You need this stuff in your car. You need a map of the local. If you're in Georgia, you need a map of the Southeast. You need one of Georgia. Local map, but you need a regional map also.
Regional map, and they're so inexpensive to get.
Right.
And then
steal one from the gas station.
Don't steal.
Don't steal from me.
But they're so inexpensive to get, and it's great to do things like that with your children because it challenges their brain. Is really it's mathematical skills. They're great activities to do with your children, but really it comes to safety. So it's learning, it's safety, it's bonding, and it really is. You're setting a good example for your children that you're a person that anticipates and prepares, and so it's a wonderful thing. And these are all kinds of things that if we can get together to go to a bar, we can get together to watch a football game like we are after the show. If we can get together to do those things and to be social, then we need to get together to save our lives. We need to get together to protect our communities and our households. And so, I've been wanting for us to do a show like this for a long time. I think it's important and something that I feel very passionate about. And, whether you're watching this live or at the archives, share this show. Send us your pictures. Let's make sure that we're holding each other accountable, so that we're getting this done. We want to see kits in everybody's homes. And the other thing is, one last thing, because I know we have to go, is that you can't make kit and then have it in a closet.
Yeah, it doesn't work that good.
You kind of have to have it by the door or by the window. And so I say, make it sexy and do like 3, you would do like 3 nails. And just hang them on there like 2 or 3 nails and hang them right on the exit. And so, just make them part of your decor. And every time somebody comes over or whatever, you're actually setting a good example and say, hey, they actually look pretty good. There they are. If something happens, I leave. If
they don't look good, what do you want to be saying? Like, oh, man, now I'm going to die because I didn't.
No, I think they absolutely can look good. If you do the precision,
it's the woman thing.
You can tell because you don't want them on the floor. It messes with our energy. So
yes.
But if they're up, off the floor, they're hanging up. And the great thing about it is that you will have the more extreme one, the one for catastrophe or whatever,
right,
in the middle or one of the 3, and then that one will stay if it's not something that you really need.
Right, the grab and go.
And that's all I have.
Well,
for everyone.
This is it. Look, you need to. This is the live show, but this is going to be archived. And what you need to do, it's your responsibility.
Yes.
To let people know about this particular show and every show that we have, but seriously about this particular show, because we are entering into a time where we're having nature is jumping bad. You know what I'm saying? So things are happening and you just don't know. So you want to be prepared. And not only things like that, and I'm not trying to, use any scare tactics, but, in this day and time, we just don't know. You know what I'm saying? Alabama lost to Texas A&M, and I thought it was going to be the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you never know. It could be a football game that causes catastrophic events. But no, seriously,
cyber attack on the power grid. That's going to be the one.
Cyber attack on the power grid. Did you hear? And you know what? That scares me, Al, because I actually thought about my whole thing is I feel like electricity is going out. I've been saying this for a year.
That's going to be the thing.
Everybody got a Kindle and all this stuff. I've been like, man.
Look at what happened up in the East Coast when they didn't have power for a week.
See,
People about lost their mind.
Exactly.
Right. And you know what? And the funny thing is, in North Carolina, in Wilmington, we're kind of used to it because hurricanes not powers out for. But even though we used to, we still don't prepare for it. Because, you know, FEMA going to come and give everybody sandwiches. Yeah. But what if FEMA can't get to you? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You trust FEMA?
The thing about it is, what always scares me is that people forgot what happened in Katrina. And it happened in this country.
They were refugees.
That's what happened. Floating bodies, you know, and
if you see my Instagram, definitely.
I have never forgotten that. And, you know, me, again, coming from an island, getting hit, you know, by hurricanes. Right. This is kind of the stuff. It's like, if we can't come together to do this, I don't understand what else, you know, other than preparing for an emergency and teaching our children. If we can't come together and do that, then really there's no reason to come together. And so, you know, it's important that we do it, and it's it's doable.
So look, we did our part. We bought all this stuff. We did the show. The rest is up to you and Al. Okay. So let's get it done, seriously. But no, I want to thank everybody for paying us some attention today. It's been a while since we've done a live show, but we back on the ball, and the New Year's coming. We're gonna revamp this whole thing, man. We got new technology.
And if everybody's on there, if you're on Facebook, feel free to join our 31 Days in December challenge. We're gonna make sure that every day in the morning we're doing meditation. We're making sure that we're setting goals for the new year. We're holding each other accountable.
Right. And check out our website, Urban Bailout.
UrbanBailout.ning.com. 2 excellent books for anybody who you know that is going to be a parent or is a parent, especially 0 to 5. You know, entire program on how to teach children to read and prepare to read by kindergarten is only $10, and everything that you need is on there. And so, you know, my information is on the Starving the System site. You can have access to me anytime, but really we have a wonderful Facebook group, 31 Days in December challenge, and check us out.
All right, so hey, we appreciate it. Like I said, spread the word, let everybody know about us. Until next week, I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do it. We're going to do the conservation thing, you know, have a guy come in and tell us what flowers we can eat and all that stuff. Or we're just going to go to something else. We're going to work on something that's going to be great and dynamic, and we're not going to let Al mess it up. So look, we appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Get coils of rope and coils of wire in a waterproof container. Put all your fire like matches and candles, and don't wear sandals. Get some hard boots and work gloves to handle the situation, cause when disaster hits the nation, you and your family gonna need your medication. Antibiotics, aspirin, the chronic, even health foods like vitamins and garlic, pain relievers, inhalers and breathers. And make sure you got something that can take down a fever. A spray bottle of water with 10% bleach.